We looked at setting up the PMO, a little bit about maintaining it, some of the different metrics, and depending on where the PMO fits is very, kind of department focused versus maybe enterprise. They might have a different view on benefits realization and kind of the being able to see kind of the bigger business picture. Some PMOs specifically are set up for very limited durations, right? Maybe they're set up just to integrate a series of systems for a period of time with the intent of when these systems are integrated, we're going to close down the PMO, right? So not all PMOs are start them up and then they just go, to infinity, on forever and ever. And beyond, it's okay to start a PMO and say, we're looking at 3 to 5 years to integrate all these systems. It's going to take some time, and when that's done, this organization that's fully chartered on, that objective, these people will go, work on other projects within the organization or other, PMOs and that sort of thing. So at some point, the organization accomplishes its objectives, and the PMO has to wind down. So talk about closing the PMO, since that's kind of the third leg of our agenda here.
Well, I think you mentioned one of the key things. I think is then the members of that PMO, the project managers who are now unemployed, go to other projects. And hopefully, if I'm talking about just basic project management, almost everyone nowadays works in a matrix environment. There are very few pure projectized organizations. So when a project's over, it's not quite as difficult as it could be because all of the people on the team have a home organization, the engineer to go here and procurement people there. And so it doesn't have the same challenges as if it was a pure projectized organization, because then you as the PM get to walk out and say, hi, I really appreciate all your support, you're fired. And otherwise you can try finding them other positions within the large global organization, hopefully. So I think the strategic plan around having this PMO for a defined period of time is just like a project. You don't wait until the project's over to plan how you're going to close out the project. So when we're developing this PMO, hopefully we've got a strategic and a set of tactical plans that is looking forward far enough to say, at this point in time, the efforts of the PMO are going to start to taper off, so we need to have plans to start dispersing the personnel within the PMO. And I think that's the key challenge.
It's good to finally get to a point where you're not just hit the wall and all the resources are gone. To your point, you're looking at strategically, this might be a multi-year effort, but at some point in time we know we're gonna accomplish our objectives, and so having plans in place to kind of slowly ramp the organization back down is really important.
Yeah.
Talk to me about lessons learned or retrospectives. Just like you close a project, you close a program, doesn't matter if it's waterfall or agile, you'd probably capture the things that went well, things that didn't go so well, the things you wanted, action items for the next PMO that you start.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. It's just like any other project. You capture the lessons learned from the project of this PMO. If I was going to do it again, what would I have done more of, less of, about the same? Would I have been wise and run screaming from the building when they offered me the job? But it's basically the same thing. It's what could we have done better?
As a PMO.
As a PMO.
Yeah.
What could we have done better? What tools maybe were available to us that we didn't take advantage of? What tools did we try to use just because it was a new shiny thing?
Right.
And, just what worked, what didn't, what should we do more of, less of?
Do we have too much process, too little process? How was our governance? How did that work?
Yeah, and were we too strict?
Yeah.
Did we allow for the variation where variation would have been good? Or did we allow variation where variation caused us problems? Right. There's always two sides to the discussion. But I think lessons learned are lessons learned. It's just a slightly different set of topic.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate
anytime
taking the time to talk with you today, and I hope that the folks here have learned quite a bit about what it takes to kind of set up a PMO. There's different types of PMOs and within the organization. Some of the activities that you'd go about doing that, maintaining a PMO, because that's certainly important aspect for the duration of the PMO. And then also closing the PMO, there are certain activities you want to do to make sure that is a smooth transition for folks that were involved in those activities. So thank you very much.